Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with us.
Ah.
Today we're going to be looking at something a little different, I think. We're going to be kind of doing a deep dive into a devotional entry,
Oh, okay.
um, and it's called God's Strength in Weakness. And this is specifically the passage for January 26th.
All right.
Um, this is something I think a lot of people can relate to. How can we actually take our weaknesses and make them,
Okay.
use them to kind of grow in our faith?
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about this devotional is it really kind of flips what we normally think of when we think about strength,
Right.
and it all kind of centers around this one verse. And that's from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9.
Okay.
And that verse says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness."
Hmm. That's powerful.
Yeah, I mean, when you first read it, it's almost like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's like counterintuitive.
It's like counterintuitive almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're always taught, you got to be strong.
So get yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yeah, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So what does it actually mean then for God's power to be made perfect in weakness?
Well, I think if we're thinking about strength as, that kind of individualistic, pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of strength,
Right.
admitting weakness feels like failure.
Right.
But what I think this verse is getting at is that admitting weakness is actually where the true strength comes from.
Hmm.
It's acknowledging that we need something outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
It's acknowledging that we don't have to have all the answers or be perfect or, do it all on our own.
Well, and that's exactly what the devotional kind of reflects on. It says our weaknesses actually become opportunities then for God to work.
Right.
It's almost like saying step aside ego, let faith take the lead.
Yeah.
But how does that actually work in practice? What are some real-world examples of this strength and weakness paradox?
Well, I think there are tons of examples throughout history. I mean, you can think about, biblical figures like David and Goliath. But I think there are also, modern day stories of people who've overcome, incredible odds.
Right.
I mean, think about someone who maybe has had, a major setback in their life or someone who's achieved something incredible despite facing, limitations.
Yeah.
I think it's in those moments when we're stripped of our own illusions of control
Right.
that we often become the most open to, change to growth.
And that's where it becomes really real, right?
Yeah.
And so the devotional challenges us to take this idea personally.
Right.
And it says, look at your own life and think about, where are you weak? And can you lean more on faith in that area?
Mm-hmm.
But that can be kind of tough. How do you know when you're truly weak or if you just need to work harder?
I think that's a great question. And I don't think it's about excusing, laziness or giving up.
Right.
It's about being really honest with yourself and looking at those areas in your life where, despite your best efforts,
You're still falling short.
you're still falling short,
Yeah.
And I think that's where we can actually invite something bigger than ourselves to step in.
Yeah, I love that. And the devotional ends with this prayer, and it just says, teach me to lean on you. And it's such a simple prayer,
Yeah.
but it's so powerful because it's really saying, I need to surrender this illusion of control.
Exactly. I mean, we're not meant to carry the weight of the world on our own,
Yeah.
And I think when we connect to something greater than ourselves, whether that's through prayer or meditation or, a community of faith, that's where we find that support, that guidance, that reminder that we're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been a really thought-provoking deep dive.
Hmm.
We've talked about weakness as an opportunity, the paradoxical strength we find in faith, and the importance of, seeking guidance when we need it.
Right.
What do you think is the most relevant takeaway for our listeners today?
I think the biggest takeaway is that embracing our limitations rather than hiding from them, that can actually be a source of real strength and growth.
Yeah.
It's about, letting go of this need to be perfect and allowing ourselves to be supported. And you know what? It may even lead to a more authentic and fulfilling life. So as you go about your day, I want you to kind of ask yourself, how might embracing your imperfections actually open up new possibilities?
Yeah.
How might letting go of the need to be strong in, that conventional sense actually allow you to tap into a deeper, more resilient kind of strength?
That's a great question for all of us to consider.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you next time.
See you later.